Okay, we got a 06 BMW 325i. It belongs to my son now. I gave it to him. It wasn't my work car. Seems to have a coolant. The front coolant hose popped off. If you can see that good. I guess it's a common failure point on these cars. This plastic piece broke. Radiator hose popped off. So we're going to be pulling that off today. Pretty simple. There's two 10mm bolts hold this thing on. That's what we got. That's a common failure point. Plastic gets brittle, weak. It does have an internal O-ring to reseal with. The replacement part, you get these from O'Reilly's aluminum. Comes with O-ring installed. It's going to be a little more durable here. But just make sure your surface cleaned out, and inside there, make sure that's good. So this one looks kind of dirty. But make sure, because we did have a little piece of this plastic, if you can see it here, on the back side of this where it goes in. Half of that's broke off inside there. But did pick it out, was able to get it out by hand. So do this one-handed here. I'll hand this to my assistant. So I can get this in here. Put a little lubrication on there, get that O-ring to pop in there. Get that lined up with the holes. Pretty much reverse the process we were on before. Alright, got that first bolt started. Just make sure your little harnesses are up out of the way. Kind of a tight space to work here between the radiator fan. Again, push this up on there. And get the bolts pretty much ran down by hand first. Then we'll come in and torque them down. Factory BMW specs. About, I don't really know what. I just hand tighten them. Snug it up. Snug the other side up here. Like I said, factory BMW specs, probably feels like about 28 foot-pounds. Probably a little too much, but get that one. Alright, got that on. Bolt. That's the new aluminum. And this is another part I'm going to have to figure out here. The factory clamp is pressed on this hose. So let me figure out how to get this off here. Alright, so it's got this factory pressed on clamp that's non-adjustable. So I pretty much had to work my fingers around because it's been on here. Probably factory hose. Be gentle with it so you don't crack this hose, but just push it around. It's still a little stuck on this one side. See if we can get this off here. So, factory clamp, looks like it's pressed from the factory. Get that out of your way. Go ahead and inspect your hose while you got it off. Make sure you didn't damage the hose in any way. I think this is a Dorman. Yeah, it's a Dorman. That's your part number, 926905. It's called a coolant flange. They do have them in stock at O'Reilly's. Looks like this is the best option they had. Go ahead and get your new clamp on here. I'm gonna slide this up on here. Make sure you seat it good. Get this clamp into position. And I'm gonna find an appropriate tool for this. Okay, so It is an 8mm on this style of clamp. Make it a little faster to run this down. And make sure you're able to get to this. Here, I need to get to it again, so she slide it around there. Make sure you're up on the flange of that aluminum, so to get a good seal on it. Run this down some more. Again, factory torque specs. Just whenever it feels tight, that's what I do. Again, check, make sure you got good seal on there. That seems like a good tight seal. Alright, so once you got the hose on there, I'm going to top this coolant off because it blew a bunch of coolant out of it. She's empty. Precise porage here. If you're a little shaky, you're not coordinated, I'm going to go and get you a funnel. She's empty for sure. We're going to fill this up. I'm going to start the car and let it run. Get the coolant up to a little pressure here. Looks like it's going to take this whole thing. Yep, I'll take it off. Alright, so I can see it down in there. We're going to go ahead and start the car up. Okay, so we got the siphon topped off. Letting the engine get up to operating temperature. Important. BMW bleed screw. Back it off counterclockwise. Leave that open. Let the engine get up to temperature. I'll bleed the air out of it. I'm going to put a whole lot of pressure on this system with a bleed screw. Alright, car's been running about 10 minutes. I'm going to back this bleed screw off. See if we got any air pockets in here. Make sure you got a flat screwdriver that's wide enough or you'll strip this thing out. Alright, here we go. A little bit of bubbles coming out. That's fine. You want bubbles to come out so you get a good stream of coolant. Right now we got a little bit of air out of there. Back it back down. Leave it about halfway open and then pop this top. And make sure, don't ever take this top off unless that bleed screw's loose. So you know all the air's off the system. Make sure we don't need to top this off. Alright, there's still a good level in there. We're going to fill that back up. Lock down. Alright, here we go. So a little bit of bubbling, a little bit. Alright, still a little bubbling. Getting a steady stream now. And run it down. Run it down, fill it up. Give it a few more minutes, build a little more pressure, make sure you don't have any more air pockets build up.